Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Queer Women of Colour. I still don't have a name, but I'm working on that. So if you've got any suggestions, please let me know. My name's Jeanette, and we have the wonderful Sky as a guest today. So welcome to the show, Sky.
Thank you so much, Jeanette, for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. I'm excited to have you here as well. How are you today, Sky? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I might just giving a heads up, I might have to adjust my position a little bit during this recording. I injured my back, so I'm trying to take care of it by not being in the same position for too long.
Okay, cool. Do what you need to do. I want to just say thank you for responding to my call to action. And I say that because it's important when we try to do things that, people respond and people engage and enjoy what it is that we're doing. So I think I'm going to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about yourself. So you could talk about where you grew up, where you're from, how you identify your family, your immediate family makeup, what you do for a living. You could go wherever you want with all of that. Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, a little bit about myself. That's such an open-ended question. Well, it's interesting when you said, "Where am I from?" I'm currently a nomad, actually. I'm on my healing adventure, but I was living on Ohlone land in California, which is, also known as the Bay Area, so East Bay Area near San Francisco, and my family makeup, my ethnicity is Filipina, and I actually have a unique family makeup and upbringing, so I won't go into details of that because that might take a little bit longer. And I am a mother of a soon to be 15-year-old, and
Wow.
he is the reason I am on my healing adventure because of transitioning um, who's taking care of him. And so, yeah. And then what I do for a living, or no, you said what I identify as. I identify as queer because I am pansexual and demisexual, and also non-monogamous. So a lot of the things that fall under the queer umbrella. Um, and what I do for a living, I am a life and relationship coach, and I support people going through major life transitions. And I really want to do my best to support actually BIPOCs or people of color. So I try to do something within that community for all of my offerings.
Thank you. Can you just explain, maybe for myself, maybe for the listeners and the viewers out there, pansexual and demisexual, please? What do they mean?
Okay, for me, pansexual means, and this is why people get confused with bisexual and pansexual. So for me, pansexual is I don't care about your gender. I care about the connection we have. So when I meet someone, the gender to me doesn't matter. You could be non-binary, gender fluid, masculine or feminine. But for me, I look at how we connect, how you impact. Actually, I looked at how I feel into how you impact my nervous system is the thing I've been doing lately.
Okay.
So gender is not important to me as a connection. And then demisexual, it's somewhat new to me identifying as, but I'm noticing as I get older, it's something that I really value. That I really need an emotional connection, like a deep emotional connection, to feel safer with someone, to feel like I could get deeper intimacy with someone, especially sexual intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I define pansexual and demisexual.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Um, kind of, so would you say that you were born and bred in the US? Is that how you kind of say you grew up in the US?
I was born in the Philippines, but I moved to California during kindergarten. I always forget the age of that, like around 5, 6 years old. So I've been in the US or all over California since Southern California, San Diego, Bay Area. So I've done my my California stints.
Okay, okay. And so would you say that you come from a particularly religious background? Was that a factor or not a factor at all? What kind of culturally
Uh,
as well and socially?
So as Filipino culture is heavy on Catholicism, so my biological parents, particularly my biological mother, she was definitely Catholic. So I grew up partly Catholic. Interesting fact is when I said I had a unique upbringing, I was actually left in the Philippines and I was raised by her family. And they, like my grandma and my aunt, who I consider my mother, they were Baptists. So I grew up Baptist, then Catholic, then born again Christian all on my own. And then in my adult life, I'm actually Lutheran. But for me, religion is more community than I believe in a higher being, whether that's God or whatever. And I believe in being a good human and a kind human. And I was fortunate enough that when I had a when I was pregnant and had my son, I found a church who welcomed me, knowing that I just wanted to be a good human and like I didn't want strict or firm beliefs that like made you not like other people. And they were also very queer friendly. If and just a shout out to them, like if you're in the Bay Area and you're looking for a queer friendly church, St. Paul Lutheran Church in Oakland is a beautiful community who is very welcoming and inclusive. Um, and yeah, so I'm technically Lutheran, but I still can't quote anything in the Bible.
Yeah,
And my pastor and my church still love me.
which is what you need really, regardless of whether you can throw all the scriptures or not. It's to be, at peace, feel loved, and find your community in this space. So that's it.
Yeah.
Um, Thinking about kind of, I don't know whether it's where you're at now or when you were growing up, did you feel like you had people that you could identify with? And when I say that, so maybe like people who you looked up to or admired, are there any people that you maybe admire now who are queer and women of color, or when you were, going through your life stages?
Yeah, so I actually didn't come out as queer until is it my mid? I'm in my early 40s now, and so I want to say mid 30s.
Hmm.
So, there's things that happen during my teenage life and college life that I would identify as being queer, but I didn't outwardly identify as that. And so to answer the question of did I have anyone to look up to, not really, because I was still not identifying myself, even though there's things that I did and people that I were attracted to that would definitely be queer, considered queer. Um, I also feel that growing up, in the 80s, um, during the whole AIDS stuff that was going on, it was harder. There was still a lot of taboo being gay or queer. And so I feel like there is less openness to really, especially as a queer woman of color, like less openness for us to explore it, or at least that's how I felt. It didn't feel as safe, and it actually took me a few years, a handful of years before I fully came out because I wanted to make sure, like, this is really me. This isn't just like a phase in my life. After my separation and divorce, um, I want to make sure, like, no, this is how I identify. This is who I really am. Yeah, this is me. And so, yeah, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you. In the areas that you've lived, would you say that you were able to find community?
Um,
And I don't know whether you needed it, whether it was important to you or not, but if you did need it or want it, were you able to find what you needed in terms of a queer community, Lee?
yeah. So like mentioned, I lived in the Los Angeles area, in San Diego, and also the Bay Area. Definitely in the Bay Area. Um, I think also part because of the work I do, there's a lot of coaches who are also queer, and so and there's a lot of sex positive communities in the San Francisco, Oakland area. So it's a lot easier. There's events all the time. My church is very queer friendly, and there's a lot of people who are queer in my church. So in the Bay Area, yes. And I would say it's probably also easier in the Los Angeles and San Diego area compared to other parts of both California and the United States. Uh, but I wasn't really looking for it at that time.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. So definitely in the Bay Area, it's a lot easier. I mean, like, I think we have one of the biggest pride parades, uh, and a lot of other events that both support events and laws that support our rights and our ability to be open about it in public.
Okay. Um, I know that we before camera we talked about where you are now. I don't know if you want to mention that because the question I want to ask is if you've been there a while or if you plan on staying there a while, is there a community, a queer community? And again, is it important where you are now?
Yeah, so I am currently in Khao Lak, Thailand. I was trying to train in Muay Thai, which is a passion of mine, but I injured myself, so I haven't trained this week. Um, and I have been trying to look for it. I know in Asian countries it's a little bit um, I haven't been to all of them, but I've been to quite a few, and it's a hit or miss how open you can be queer here. And so as a solo woman of color traveler, even though I am Asian, like I'm a lot more cautious of my safety. So I don't really go out looking for it, but like I keep my eye open. Like for example, there's a cafe I've been going to, and there's a part of me that kind of feels like the people who work there are a queer woman, um, or at least are feminine looking. And so I've been eating there a little bit more to see if I can find it.
Maybe, yeah, maybe there's
Yeah,
community here.
yeah. So yeah, I haven't been seeking it out, but I have been keeping my eye open and like, just paying attention to what people are sharing. Um, I also just came from Aotearoa, New Zealand, and there, since I felt a little bit safer, um, I was asking about it more, like, are there any queer communities here? I really just wanted to to see what it was like there because I'm trying to figure out where I want to live right now. And so when I asked that, people were like, "Oh, I don't personally know it, but maybe go here." And they say, people would tell me what the rules and the laws were, and it was really good to identify like countries that have more openness to queer rights. Yeah.
Okay. So kind of leading on from that, you're looking for the place to call home. Are there other countries and places that are calling you that you think maybe that's a good spot, that's a good country, maybe that will align with me and I can be my authentic self? And equally, are there countries that you think I would never go there for the very same reason?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I've been looking for. We have our intersectionality. So we're women, we're queer, and we're people of color. And those three, it's really hard to find a place where you can feel safe. I mean, just in the US alone, and even in California, like women's rights are going back. Roe v. Wade was overturned. Um, if I leave certain pockets within even California itself, if I leave certain pockets of California, there's parts where racism is really heavy, all right, so that is something I'm looking for. And honestly, the only one that like I feel has hit all three as a woman, as a queer woman of color is Aotearoa, New Zealand. For those who aren't familiar with the term Aotearoa, it's what the Maori's name is for New Zealand, and so I try to use the indigenous name for the country.
What is it about Aotearoa that kind of is calling you?
Yeah, so I knew nothing. I didn't know much about it when I went to go visit for the first time just a month ago. But I love nature. I I mentioned that like the nervous system thing right now, and I don't know if other women of color, queer women of color, can relate to this, but I just feel like the past 5 years, our nervous system has been put through hell and back. Yeah, right. Like everything has been tested for us, and for me in particular, not just with those identities, I was also going through this horrendous court battle and like transitioning my career. And, I had a kid, and the changes with the schooling and stuff. So that it was really, really hard. And I'm just tired. Like, I feel like I've been blanketed with just this heavy wave of exhaustion. And I just want an easeful life,
I hear
you
you. I
know.
hear you. Yeah.
I'm so tired. And people, when they hear me say easeful, they think, oh, you just want easy life. I was like, no, no, no. I just want to be able to live a day where I'm not constantly just feeling so exhausted to the bone, like just just a little bit of ease. That's it.
But also, if you want an easy life, you're entitled to it because some people do have it, and it like there are lots of groups of people that are vilified and chastised for wanting these things that are like so outlandish. Like, how dare you want an easy life because other people don't have it, or quite a lot of people do have it. But there shouldn't be that kind of vilification of somebody not wanting trauma and to suffer and like have things come easily. Like, some people have that shit every day of their lives.
Yeah. And thank you for calling that out. That's like the capitalism, you know, hold on me. And I think for me, the reason why I had to correct it is um the way the tone is, it's like I'm trying to be lazy and I'm like, fuck you. I have worked so hard. Like so hard my entire life. Like so that's the part. Like I get irked of like equating easy life with me being lazy. And I'm like, no, I've done my turn of working hard.
Yeah. Um, excuse me. What would you say to Sky, 15 years old? So young Sky, what would you say to her? What advice would you give her?
15 years at 15 years old?
15, 16, 14, kind of around that
Okay.
age bracket.
Ooh, I'm gonna pause. I'm getting emotions are coming up because actually those years were really hard for me.
If we can move on to
Ooh,
the question, and you
no, I
can,
think it's good to answer. Um,
okay, do
I
what you
just want
need
to
to do with
practice.
it.
Yeah, I just want to practice that pause. So my biological father left us around 13, 14. And so my biological mother didn't handle it very well. And rightfully so, right? Your husband leaves you with two kids and it's just with a note. So
Yeah,
yeah. Um, she could have done better, but so like raise my sister. I have an older biological sister, and at 14 we're pretty much. I was 14, pretty much raising ourselves. So at 15, is when I realized my well, I didn't know these were the terms for it, but now I do. My mental health deteriorated, and I had really bad depression, and so the thing I would say to her now is it's going to get hard, but you're not alone, and you are loved, and you are worthy of a good life.
you are. We all are, and
Yeah,
you are. Thank you. Just take a minute and do what you need to do, and just do what you need to do.
yeah.
Um,
Tears don't scare me.
thank you for sharing that. And yeah, thank you. The vulnerability. Um, Maybe on a lighter note, do you have any funny or interesting or not so funny stories when it comes to dating as a queer woman of colour? Have you kind of had X or Y or been told no or what or something happened that was
I well, one, I just hate dating.
why?
It's just I really appreciate and value directness and honesty.
Mhm.
I don't do well with small talk, so if you ever meet me in public and it's a big group gathering, like, I'm awkward, I'm socially awkward. I can't I like, yeah, I do better on one-on-one, which is why this is going well for me, and, like, small groups, so, like, when I do workshops and stuff, I try to make it as small as possible, so, like, 5, maybe 10 people at max if I have a partner working with me, but yeah, and when you meet someone for the first time, there's this, like, I don't know, it's just, like, awkward because I feel like people put up a front, and I'm like, "Just be real with me." And, um and I'm very honest, so when people ask me questions, I answer honestly. Uh, I think one time, I went on a date, and the person asked me, like, "Oh, like, how do you know it's a good date?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah," and I just went off about, like, like, when I'm on an app, I don't really like, I just read your profile to see if there's a connection, and I look at your photos to see if there's even a hint of an attraction, like, it doesn't have to be fully, like, "Oh my god, I find this person, like, super, attractive," just there just needs to be a hint. But what I look for these days is when we meet in person, how do they impact my nervous system? Because I'm
Mhm.
telling you, I am tired. I don't want someone impacting my nervous system anymore.
Negatively.
And I'm very, empathetic, so I pick up people's energies way faster than I do, like, when they're talking, and so I will just get a little bit close to them, and I will feel it, and I'm like, "Okay, do they impact my nervous system?" But, so I answered this person's question like that and, like, expressed it, and so, like, they scooted away from me,
Like, okay.
and they're like, "What are you feeling about me?" And I was like, Now I'm feeling weird." But, yeah, like, and they didn't understand the whole thing about energy. Which was interesting because, like, in the beginning, like, I can tell that they were anxious, but they still had, like, a good vibe. But I think I scared them off when I mentioned that because they couldn't understand how the energy, like, thing worked, and, they started acting weird, and I was like, "Okay, I like."
Yeah, time to go, time to call it a day. That's one that you can't really teach. And it
Yeah,
doesn't need to be taught either. It's either like it's understood, or it's not, or somebody's that interested in what you are talking about. So yeah.
yeah.
Um, Thinking about dating and spaces and being understood, are there have you been to like queer spaces? When I say queer spaces, I mean like festivals, holidays, or yeah, and like found community and found that you were. I'm just wanting to the question like that you were welcomed in that space as your authentic self. So maybe like I don't know if you're familiar with Olivia Holidays as a company kind of offers queer holidays for women, or the shore as a space. I think that's in the States, and then you've got different festivals around the world, and like maybe it's not your thing. These big events, it doesn't sound like it'd be your thing, but um, these women only spaces that are created, and then maybe like days and days of different things happening. But have you experienced any of those and kind of like felt like can be naked in every sense of the word, and or like it's just those are it's not your thing, you haven't looked for it and you haven't found it, and
I definitely have looked for it, and, in the Bay Area, there are, like I mentioned, a lot of queer spaces. If it's women only or women non-binary only, um, it's predominantly white. And so trying to find queer women of color spaces or just queer colors, queer people of color spaces is what I've been trying to find more of. And I have found a few. Um, I feel that it was also, it coincided with the whole, around the same time as the pandemic. And so I haven't been going out as much. I think I've gone to maybe like a handful of events since 2020. And when I say handful, like less than five. So, so in
You're
the
talking about
past,
the hand. Yeah.
yeah, like in the past, or 2024, so in the past 4 years or less than that, 3 years, that's how many I've gone to. And it is out there. It's just harder. It's less frequent, and it is, like now that I know of a few of them, I just follow along to see like when they're hosting events, and they try to host it. I also feel it's just harder. And then for my training background, I have a colleague. I have a colleague in New York, and we host an online monthly thing for people in our field who are have you I don't know in the UK, do you use the term BIPOC?
Yeah.
BIPOC? Okay. So we have a BIPOC monthly meeting that we host for people in our field. And that's pretty much as I've done. I think for me, like going back to like what's been happening with us lately, I just don't have much time. I feel like I'm still in survival mode. And even in those monthly meetups that we host, so we host a queer one and we also host a BIPOC one. And the BIPOC one always has a lower attendance, and sometimes no one will show up. And we're like, is this needed in the community? And we feel like people say they need it, but like and we've even tried different things like, when are you available? Here are a few choices. Like we've tried to see like how we can accommodate for people to show up. We give enough notice. Yeah, and it's still like hard for people to come. So I also feel like, yes, there's an interest for these spaces, but it's also harder for us to have the time
It's the
to
time, the
attend these.
energy. It's
Yeah.
often we are dealing with so much crap, and it's just there was something else I was going to say there, but I can't remember. Um, to have the luxury and the
Yes.
stability to be able to sit down and connect to the internet for half an hour, and that energy, or like we're not dealing with mental health or kind of homelessness or instability in so many different ways and areas, and it's a shame because we have, in my opinion, the greatest need.
Yes.
Accessing services and spaces is so much more difficult for us because of all of the things that we go through, because of all those kind of intersectionalities and the support that we might not have, also because of where we come from in terms of like family support and family makeup as well, in my humble opinion.
Yeah.
um,
No, and you hit that correctly. You use the word luxury, but I'll even call it like we don't have the privilege. Our intersectionalities are hit every single way, and we don't have that privilege to be like, oh, I'm going to take an hour of time this week just for me to join this community, or I'm going to take 2 hours to join this event, because you're prioritizing surviving, paying rent and all the outrageous things that you have to pay for, taking care of children, not
maybe
having the
mental health.
community. Yeah, mental health. Yeah.
Like
So,
so many kind of instabilities, relationship support, house, so many. Um, I think I want to go on a kind of more like lighter note. So one of the things that I've taken from a famous entrepreneur here in the UK, he does a podcast, Stephen Bartlett is his name, and he asks his guest, to question the next guest. So I had two guests on the show. It was actually yesterday. And so I've got two questions for you. And you do with these questions as you see fit. They're quite light-hearted, to be fair.
Okay.
So one is, if you had $1 million, who would you give it to and why? And you have to give it away to someone or a group of people.
Who would I give it to and why? Oh, my first gut reaction. I'll just go with my first gut reaction. We're going through presidential elections again this year in the US.
So wait, well, not presidential, but yep.
Yeah.
But yep, it's an interesting year.
Yeah, and so my gut reaction was whoever is running against Trump was my like initial gut reaction because having him as president was very traumatizing. Like he hit all of our identities. Like he impacted, and it was really not safe for a queer woman of color to be pretty much anywhere in the US. You know, it's hard. Laws were changing, people were coming out, and not coming out as queer, but coming out as hating all kinds of people. So my gut reaction when you said that was like, oh yeah, anything to support whoever else is running against him. And then I know there's gonna be people out there who's like, we need to get away from this two system bubble. I get it. I get it. I don't think that's going to happen in this election. So, like, just trust me. I'm with you. I believe that we should change it, but like, we have an immediate issue right now, and so I'm trying to address the immediate issue. But yeah, that was my gut reaction.
So your political would be Biden would give your money to the Biden campaign because
I I actually have not been following it, but I believe that right now it is Biden and Trump that are going against, but it's not confirmed. So like I've been trying to take care of my nervous system, and so I don't do any of the news. And I have a handful of people that I trust, and I'm like, if there's anything important, or like, you know, maybe once a month they'll fill me in on something that I need to know about. But that's as much I can do right now. It's like, and it's hard because I am an activist. You know, I am all about social justice, but I also feel like there's so much going on, you know, and I won't even mention all the other countries that are dealing with horrible genocide right now, like, you know, and just I want to be able to fight long term, and so I'm like doing the little things I need to right now to take like I have back issues, and I know that that's a privilege for me to step away from it. One of the most beautiful quotes I got from a calling for the indigenous folks in the US was for Standing Rock, which happened around the same time that Trump got elected for president the first time. And as a Native American, she said, it is a privilege if you can walk away from the atrocities that are happening. And I own that. I know this is my privilege to walk away from all the horrible things happening right now, and I'm not going to walk away forever. I'm just taking a break right now to take care of myself because my mental health and my physical health hasn't been well. And yeah.
okay.
And I will participate when I'm able to.
And that's like we have to prioritize ourselves because the joy of social media and technology means that we have access to so much information, and we can't fight every battle. And especially when those of us that have got battles in our everyday motherfucking lives. So it's like it's choose the battles and you know and prioritize yourself and protect yourself and it, like that a little bit. Um, if you could, this was the other question. So if you could wake up tomorrow and be anywhere in the world, where would that be and why? We already know the answer to that one, but just in case.
Aotearoa. Actually, you know, if I could pick a place, somebody there that I met there recommended another. Oh, I don't even want to share it because people might go there.
I don't know how big you think the following is. Yeah, it's a positive wishing for me. Dream setting stuff.
Okay, I'll just stay with Aotearoa. But there is this other island that people from there mention that I've never even heard of, but I don't want to say it because they said that it might attract more people there.
Yeah,
I'll tell you in private, Jeanette.
that's cool. That's cool. That's cool, Sky. You can do that. Yeah, you can do that. I don't know if it's on my radar, to be fair. That part of the world, it's like an incredible part of the world, but just from the UK, it's just so far away. And also, for me, like a little bit now, so white. And I say now because I'm from the UK, and those things bothered me before, but didn't bother me in the way that they do now. And when I say white, kind of from the top down. Um, so yeah, I look for spaces. For example, they're beautiful parts of the world, and there's like lots of nature and lots of incredible things to see and to do. But if I were on my deathbed tomorrow, I'd be fine if I kind of didn't touch that part of the world. That's how I feel, and that's how I look at things. But yeah, a bit more than you needed to know, but you can tell me afterwards. um, so, what would you like to ask my next guest? What question would you like to ask my next guest?
What brings you the most joy in life right now?
Thank you. I will do that. So, back to you. How would you like to be remembered?
Oh, um, so this, the year before, I took a death doula training. We're getting to an age where we're losing a lot of people, and so I wanted to be able to support people, and again, especially uh, people of color, because there's so much racism that continues at the end of life, and yeah, it doesn't end. And so that's actually a question that was asked, and I've been feeling into that. And what comes up for me is I want to be remembered as somebody that people could go to without judgment, that they felt safer with, so that they can share authentically and vulnerably with me, um, and that they were able to connect to a human that they felt loved by, just for being them.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I'm just trying to kind of think. We're maybe going to start kind of wrapping things up.
Yeah.
But one of the questions, thinking about the future, what do you look forward to about the future?
What do I look forward to? As I mentioned, I'm on this healing adventure, and I've been quite intentional on prioritizing my self-love, my self-acceptance, and actually, one thing that's been coming up a lot is my self-forgiveness. There's been so much that I've been holding on to that I need to forgive myself for. Um, I'm feeling scared to share it, but it's important for me to share. Like I've had a lot of feelings, like the self-blame around my marriage and the way my family, with my son has turned out, and having to forgive myself for that. But hold on, my thought process went off in a different direction. Can you repeat the question just so I can go back on track, please?
No problem. So what do you look forward to about the future?
Thank you. So the healing part is feeling lighter in myself, not so heavy and not so self-critical, just having more self-love. That's what I look forward to. And also being more intentional with finding community that I really belong in and not just trying to fit in. That's actually what I've been doing, like manifesting that, like before I leave this world, I want to feel like I belong. I want to feel like I'm loved for exactly who I am. I have parts of that, like I've had people in my life, but like a community. Anybody's out there that wants to build an intentional community where we work together and support one another and live on property where it's both communal and like, we have our private spaces. That's what I want to build.
Bit of a
Uh,
commune,
huh?
a bit of a commune, we used to call those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
And surrounded by nature. I really love nature.
Somebody else I interviewed the other day was talking about that, and it resonates with something that I want as well. It's yeah, and I think post pandemic, the other pandemic, not the current one, but post pandemic, I think a lot of people are yearning for kind of community and space and being, out in Mother Nature and healing, earth and growing their own food, etc., etc. I think people have realised kind of the importance of simple and old way of living, I would say. That's what I think. Um, is there a question that you were hoping that I was going to ask you, or you wished I'd have asked you? Well,
Actually, no. I kind of just went into this like wanting to connect with another queer woman of color and seeing how it turned out. Yeah, and I've really enjoyed my time here. Thank you for
thank
putting
you
on the
again.
call.
Yeah, we've got a time difference. It's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here, and so it's almost, I think, 8 o'clock in the morning where you are. Yep. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna go to bed after this.
thank you for staying up.
It's okay. Yeah, it's like, thank you for being here as well. So I think I'm just looking, is there anything else that I'd like to ask you? I think maybe the final question I'm going to ask you is, how can people find you? Is there anything that you would like to let people know about the services that you offer, about where you can be found, about what it is that you do? Is there anything that you'd like to say about that for a living or anything else?
Yeah, my website's open, Skyspace. The work I do is I'm a life and relationship coach, so I support people going through major life transitions, so separation, divorce, if you're new to co-parenting, single parenting, opening up or non-monogamy in your relationship, even coming out. And I don't have it up yet, but even, um, losing a loved one, if you need support moving forward, or what I'm calling continuing on. And I feel that it's kind of hard to put the time there, and also, like, and just so you know, I also for any lower income BIPOCs or people of color, I always offer, a discounted rate, half my rate, to make sure that I'm able to support this community, and I'm also gonna try doing, like, workshops and group activities, so it could be even more affordable for people. But if you contact me and just tell me what's going on, I'll try to work it out with you because I really wanna support people who are struggling. And I know that queer people of color struggle a lot, and so, like, I get it. So just know you have somebody who's gonna try their best to be by your side, and, I feel that, um, just knowing that people are out there, there's healers out there who care and who look like you and who have experiences. I don't know how it is in the UK, but in the US, it's like the therapy field, it's starting to change, but it's predominantly white. And so just know that they're out there. And if I'm not a fit for you, I won't take it personally. Like I have resources. So like if you're looking for someone else, or a particular type of person, you know, like I'm also open to helping you find the right fit of like the support. Like I'm just a big advocate for getting the support you need. So just know that you now have a resource for that. And yeah, I am on Instagram. I'm not well with social media, as you can tell. I am gonna try to do some more. I'm like similar to like how you're just trying to figure out their podcast. Like I'm still trying to figure out what I want to post and also the energy to put into it. But yeah, so open sky space for both Instagram handle and my website. Oh, and just a plug, I am also partnering. He is a white man, but we're trying to see if we can coach together interracial couples. Because I've been noticing when I do discovery calls with interracial couples, it's usually harder for the masculine person to come in. So we're going to partner up. So we're doing beta testing on that. So if you're an interracial couple and you would have struggled financially paying for this, it's beta testing. So reach out,
What,
Sky at
sorry,
Open.
what's that beta testing?
You would be testing out the way we coach because we've never coached together. So it'd be me and a
Okay,
counterpart. Yeah. So it's
okay.
not just one person, it'd be two of us. The only tricky part is he's in California and I'm currently in Southeast Asia. So the time difference might affect people, but just try.
Okay. They can find you on Open Space,
Open sky space.
Open Sky Space. Thank you. Um, yeah. Is there anything that you'd like to say before we finish up? Anything that you'd like to let people know about your journey, your experience, about who you are, about what we've discussed or not discussed?
Uh, what did I say? Um, that's so finding a word. I will share this tip. Finding and unfortunately I don't remember the person who taught me this, and I will try my best to look it up. But I learned this from a few people, and finding a word for the year since it's still January really helps set the tone. And it's kind of like the way I do it is finding a word that you want to feel. So last year my word was ease, and this year my word is alignment. And it's for me, it's been easier than setting up a goal because goals, it's like, you know, there's so many things that could come through it. But like when I set the feeling that I want to feel for the year, and when I across like decisions to make or hardships, I think of the word I want to feel. So like last year was ease. And every time I had to make a decision, I was like, okay, I want to feel easeful. And it's helped guide me on making the decision. And so I share that tip because it's really helped me out. And I hope that you find ease and fulfillment and love on your journey.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I
Thank
wish the
you.
same for you too. So I think we're going to come to a natural end, and I just want to say thank you again for your time and your energy and your honesty, Sky. And to anyone else who would like to be a guest on the podcast, please do reach out, get in touch, drop me a message, and we can make it happen. We can share your story, share your journey. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And from the queer women of colour over here, we are out. Goodbye. Thank you, Sky.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks, everyone.